Well, you probably know that music, especially if you're a fan of Grey's Anatomy. And one of the most powerful gatekeepers in the entertainment industry is this lady, Alexandra Patsavas, the music guru behind not only Grey's Anatomy, but several other hit TV shows. One play on prime time and her song pick will jump to the top of the charts, be downloaded on millions of iPods, and turn a once obscure rock band into an overnight sensation. She joins us from LA. Welcome, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, so many people were fascinated by how you do what you do and the enormous amount of influence that you are now having on the entertainment industry. How did you come up with this concept, and how do you do what you do?
Well, I think most importantly, making music a character on the show is a producer-driven decision. And when producers decide early on to highlight music in a way that makes it a character, fans connect with it much more.
So how do you go about picking a song for the drama, say Grey's Anatomy, you know, one of the top-rated dramas on television? Do they come to you and say, we're looking for this type of a piece of music, or do you take a look at the script and match it up?
You know what, I actually do it in all those ways. I'm always on the lookout for new songs for Grey's, and get about 500 submissions a week from all over the world, really, managers and labels and publishers, both domestically and internationally. But aside from those submissions that come to me, I do search MySpace and blogs, and I go to shows.
I was going to ask you how much the internet plays in your ability to choose music, or how much the old-fashioned way of finding a group played into it, going to the smaller clubs and finding those obscure bands. But it is a blend of both?
It really is. I mean, the internet has certainly made music supervision as a profession a much easier job in a way. Local bands are no longer local to your zip code. I mean, you could know about a local band internationally, in Iceland or in Germany, which has really changed things. But you still have to, the music still has to be great, and that's the core of it, really.
Yeah, we're taking a look at some of the music groups that have been highlighted. The Fray, Snow Patrol, Death Cab for Cutie. I mean, some of these bands were not known at all before you picked their music. That gives you an awful lot of power.
Yeah, I think that all of those bands, both Death Cab and Snow Patrol, already had some really, really outstanding albums out in the marketplace. I think it was the combination of a great new release and then a platform that could highlight their music and give them exposure to a greater audience.
Well, let's take a listen to one of them, 10, 15 seconds, because there's so much more we want to talk about, to Snow Patrol's Chasing Cars.
Great.
Now that track was used during a death scene, obviously, but now Snow Patrol did have some good albums out, but one could argue that it was this particular scene that not only catapulted them to starhood, but really has them nominated for several awards. How do you decide to choose a particular group? Do they have to have other songs out, or will you take a group that is relatively unknown, if not completely unknown, and only has one song out there?
You know what, we actually I love to use completely unknown acts. Probably a good 30% of the bands that we do use on Grey's Anatomy. And Grey's Anatomy tends to have between 6 and 9 songs an episode, so there's quite a few songs every episode. Are completely unknown, maybe unsigned, and just known in their regional marketplace, really.
Do you think you'd be able to do this if not for the internet? How big a role has that played in your ability to find these groups from other parts of the world?
I think it's played a major part, and I also think, we music supervisors actually perform a quite complicated clearance process to make sure that the songs are able to be used on the episodes, and the internet really, really helps that out as we're communicating in the UK or in Germany, you know, what used to be a very drawn-out process, now we can do by email and clear songs quickly. The TV schedule, especially as we get later and later in the season, is more and more compressed. And we might start out in June with quite a lot of time to make choices, but by the end of the season, I might hear something on a Monday that airs on a Thursday, which, you know, makes everything a very immediate problem and process.
Well, for those who haven't visited our website, you were kind enough to put together a group of songs to make money by, because we're about making money, and I'll tell you, the music industry is about making money, and you are certainly helping them do that. So here's a list of some of the songs that you graciously put together for us, and you can get those at cnbc.com. Music to make money by. Thank you so much, Alex. It's been a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Best of luck.